821 Big 550 KTRS. He was not on yesterday. He was spending time with his new baby. You're talking about your child.
Yes.
Not your...
Same
not
woman,
your affair.
Same woman, new baby.
Okay, all right. All right, there we go. David Hunn with us, ladies and gentlemen, Post-Dispatch reporter. He's been covering this Ferguson commission and everything going on. It seems like, and I know you weren't there per se, but it seems like this might have been the first one where actually some constructive something happened.
Yeah, it was a lot quieter for sure.
Yeah.
My colleague Stephen Deere's been covering the Muni Court stuff a lot, so he went to last night's meeting.
Right.
And it was, there was still anger, but it wasn't like the first two. I mean, the first two were just, literally everything stopped.
Right.
Like they could not get work done until people got their thoughts out.
And so did I'm sorry, Kelly, did something change? Did they set it up differently?
No, same setup, same lineup as the second meeting.
Right.
I think we all expected people to slowly let the commission do more of its business.
I'm telling you, that last meeting, not last night's, but the one before that, with
it was intense.
Chief Dotson and people literally right up in his face.
Oh yeah, inches away. It was very much like the protests, in Ferguson, where you're just on edge. You don't know if something could actually go wrong. There's police officers around the edges. The guys who run the commission were doing their very best to get the police officers to be kind of less threatening. But when all the protesters came and got right up in Dotson's face,
I don't understand. You're at a commission hearing, and Sam Dotson is speaking, and I don't think people saw. If you saw the pictures, you know what we're talking about. But they had somebody with a camera inches from his face with a look like, what are you going to do about it? Well, you're invading his personal space. How are you supposed to have a constructive conversation like that?
Yeah, it is. Well, there's no... they're not going for a constructive conversation, right? Like that is not.
But
the goal.
Where's the security around the speaker who wants to speak?
So I think that from Dotson's perspective, he feels like if he does anything at all at that moment, something violent could happen.
Right.
And if that happens, then there's no win, right? Like then the cops tackle the protesters, and then the protesters, take to social media.
Right.
Nothing happens good if Dotson reacts. So I think very much to his credit, he was so uncomfortable. You could see it in his face, but he didn't move.
Right.
Mm-hmm. He cracks those smiles, kind of like we all do when something's really uncomfortable.
Right.
And you don't know what to do, right? You kind of like maybe sometimes smile a little. And people got mad at him for that.
It's a nervous, weird. But he was invading his person. Nobody stands that close to anybody.
No, no. And some of those guys definitely are passionate local activists who care deeply about their issues and really want to see change and are so frustrated they don't know. I understand that too, right? Because the Ferguson Commission is a governor-appointed commission with a variety of viewpoints, but still very established individuals, right? With the exception of one guy, Rasheen Aldridge is the protester.
Yeah, and what happened with if anything has happened with him since he's been
He's the one who was arrested.
Assault.
Yeah, I think that's where it stands. There's no.
Was he there
movement.
yet? Oh,
yeah.
You know if he was there?
He was.
So
there yesterday.
He's been at all of them.
Yeah. No, the first one he missed. He was at.
He was in D.C. next to the White House. The next one he was arrested. Did he make the second one?
Yeah, he did.
Okay, good.
And he had some questions for Dotson, and I actually think he totally. He was very professional up there. So the guy who the protesters see as a kind of quote-unquote leader was actually, very cordial, hard questions, right? But very put together.
Yeah. We keep hearing about once the spectacle went away, when they broke out into these meetings, that's when some more constructive work was done. Is that the way you saw it?
Yeah, and it's been like that both meetings. In fact, again, so the leaders, Starsky Wilson and Rich McClure have kept such cool, even when they're clearly flustered. They have kind of powered through that intense period. Again, where you even wonder, oh my gosh, is a blow gonna, are we gonna come to blows here? They get through it, and then they get to these kind of breakout sessions, and then you see work start happening. You see people start having their ideas. Written. They do these sessions where they write down stuff on paper, and it's kind of a brainstorming session. It's frustrating though, because that second meeting, the protesters all come, and by protesters I mean guys who I've seen on the streets in Ferguson.
Right.
Some of them are locals. Some of them aren't. I don't mean to lump them all together.
Sure.
But they all left. So they get there. They shut down the meeting. They did their chants. They yelled at Dotson. And then they don't stick around for the brainstorming
So they're
session.
basically there for the cameras, don't you think? Seriously?
You should bring a camera. You should bring a camera with
Yeah,
you. Then they'd stick around.
I mean, they want to.
I don't understand that. So I'd love to, next time I see those guys, I'm going to ask them, like, why did you leave? Like, that doesn't make sense to me. I get the protesting part, right? I understand the anger. I think they have really good points. Why not stay? Stay, help folks make some change.
Right. What's the idea? Where is this going? Are they going to come back with a report?
Yeah.
Are they going to? Are we going to wait 18 months for what? What are they trying to accomplish here?
Yeah.
This commission.
So I think there's a couple things that are really important to point out on that note. One, they say they are not trying to figure out who was right and who was wrong in Michael Brown's shooting. So they're not going to weigh in on that issue. Second, they're not going to wait for their report to give recommendations to the legislature and governor. So they hope to put in changes to the law immediately, in January.
Recommendations.
Yeah. Yes.
Right.
Sorry. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. They don't have that power yet.
They're going to change the law.
Yeah. So they will ask the legislature, probably through Governor Nixon's office, for some changes in state law to allow, some of these. A good example is the municipal court fines.
Right.
I'll try to. I think one of the things we'll see soon is a further limit to the amount of money that municipalities can make in tickets and fines.
Yeah. It seems like everybody agrees, even the most ardent Darren Wilson supporter and the most ardent protester agree that system is completely broken.
Yeah. So it definitely preys on people who don't have the money to pay the initial fine, right? So, just to be blunt, if I get a ticket, I'm going to go to my bank account and pay the $100, right? But if I don't have $100, that ticket doesn't stay at $100, right? It goes to $200, and then suddenly you don't show up because you're afraid you're going to get put in jail. Then suddenly you are going to get put in jail. I mean, it's just a bad system. Now that said, nobody's saying that. At least I haven't heard anyone saying we shouldn't have tickets. I mean, you have to have something.
Right. But as Scott Eric Schmidt, who sat in that same seat, said St. Anne.
Yeah.
As soon as the mall goes away, shockingly enough, that same tax revenue reappears as tickets.
Yeah.
2 or 3 years later.
We see that all over the place.
Yeah.
And the guys at the office are doing this same work now and figuring all of this stuff out. But one of the things that I think is fascinating is potentially what's going to come out of this is the elimination of municipalities.
Right.
Some of these munis don't have enough revenue to survive without their ticket revenue.
Right.
So they're going to. So let's say the legislature comes back and says, yeah, we're capping ticket revenue at 10% of your budget.
Right.
Well, some of them are in the 40s and 50s right now.
Some of them are in the 80s.
Is that true?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, think about this, though. They only really exist to exist. And right, I mean, there's really no reason Pine Lawn should exist. It's got 3,200 people, wrote 17,000 tickets, 25,000 warrants out for their arrest, and their police chief, Anthony Gray, who doubles as the Michael Brown family attorney, said on this show that the police don't have to live in Pine Lawn because it's not big enough.
How do you make them all live in Pine Lawn? There's not enough housing. Right. So I think one of the things that's really hard here, and the sticky part is, people love their little munis. So tell the folks in Webster Groves they're going to combo with Kirkwood, right? I mean, that's not going to happen.
No, but you don't need all of these police forces. That's the problem. And the other problem is, so let's say they cap it at 30% or 20%. We know what goes on right now. We get a ticket. That $100 ticket, I pay somebody on the corner, right? Fix your ticket, DUI, right? Speeding ticket. I pay the guy $50. And in 6 months, he calls me. He says, "You've just, pled guilty to $250 of excessive noise violations, which is not a moving violation, which doesn't come under the 20% ticket."
Yeah, so they're going to have. I mean, they know that, and they're going to have to fix the law in that way too, so that it doesn't end up exactly like that.
And to continually enforce it too.
That's a great point. I mean, what we just talked about that last night. These munis are all supposed to self-report when they go over 30%. And that's not happening.
And what the municipal league is against this, right? They're coming out against this. Well, clearly because this is their fiefdom.
Yeah, parts of it for sure. I mean, and they don't like the idea of the munis all comboing. Yeah, I mean, it's not an easy. There's no easy answer to this. I mean, so sure, we love the idea of these small munis comboing, some of them, right?
Right.
But when there's going to be some sticky spots here.
But like Delwood is still a town, but they have their police run by St. Louis County.
But I think the question is should Delwood still be a town?
Right. What does Delwood do for its residents?
Right. And some of these places, by the way, are in debt. I mean, they are in trouble. Like some of them, one of them just built a huge new city center. I mean, they took out bonds. I mean, they have lots of debt to pay off. I mean, who's going to take that debt? Who's going to pay off the bonds?
Now you get into the city-county merger and all that type of stuff.
I mean, these are tough.
Sticky wickets.
Yeah.
That's why, David Hunn, you're always welcome here, my friend. St. Louis Post-Dispatch reporter covering the Ferguson Commission and all the things surrounding it. You're also on the city beat with the Arch Grounds and all that stuff. That's rocking and rolling, right?
Yeah, Arch Grounds is moving along.
Moving along, good.
Yeah.
David Hunn.
Park over the highway is going to be walkable pretty soon here.
Yeah. David Hunn, good to have you.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
8:32, Big 5.